All right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to today's call. Welcome to today's call. This is the 3rd of March. It is New York session. So we are going to be looking at the New York session open. I'll be your host for this call today. My name is Wale. For those of you who have not worked with me before in the past, I am primarily a currency trader. We'll look at a couple different assets as well. We'll see how gold is trading right now. We'll see how some of the indices are trading right now. I like to focus on NASDAQ, but then we'll also definitely take a look at the US based pairs and how they're responding to everything that's going on right now, you guys. So, first and foremost, as we all know, there is global unrest right now. There's a lot of things happening across the world. It is a very, very volatile market that we're trading in right now. You can see pairs like the NASDAQ that will be opening in just a moment is already down over 500 points, while US 30 is already down nearly 1,000 points already, just based off of all of the uncertainty around the globe. So, as we know, when it comes to trading pairs like NASDAQ, typically we will see things like the NAS trade against gold. We'll see maybe gold buying in times of uncertainty, while we see pairs like or instruments like the NASDAQ selling during those same times of uncertainty. They're not typically going to move in alignment with each other, right? When we think about our safety and security, we think about protecting our assets, people put their money into gold. That's why, as we zoom out throughout this entire conflict, we can come back to even, the Gaza war, the Ukrainian war. You can see how the market has just been steadily buying this entire way through. The gold market has blown up over the past couple of years here. I'm actually looking at NAS here just as well, but the gold market has blown up over the past couple of years here, right? As we start to see and we're hearing these conversations about what's happening in Iran right now, right? What's happening in Israel right now. What we would expect, typically, what I would expect is I would expect there to be continued bullishness in the market, for the market to just keep on buying, keep on buying, keep on buying. But in reality, we're actually also seeing gold sell just as well. To me, in my mind, that creates a little bit of a conflict, right? And the way that I trade, conflict is not a bad thing necessarily, because conflict is going to direct us, it's going to direct our focus, right? And the fact that this market is already kind of easing down already, it means that some of what we've been experiencing in the, some of what we've been hearing about, right? In Iran has already been priced into the gold market, right? Gold has already priced those movements in. So we've already seen that. So we're not getting that kind of a response, right? So what can we look for a reaction in? Some of the pairs that I am focusing on currently is I do have a current focus on the JPY pairs. I also do have a current focus on, of course, the USD pairs just as well, right? The US dollar is going to drive the market right now. And as you can see, the US dollar itself is extremely bullish, right? It is extremely bullish. We can see that we previously came in and we were able to sweep the lows on the dollar. This is the dollar index, the DXY. So essentially, the dollar index is the basket of currencies that trade against or that trade in alignment with the dollar. So if the dollar index is bullish, is buying in a big way, then what we're going to see is we're going to see other currency pairs that trade against the dollar, similar to the New Zealand dollar. We'll see them selling off, right? So we'll be able to find these sells on the New Zealand dollar as the US dollar is getting stronger. Because, of course, in currency pairs, when we're trading one pair, right, let's say we're buying the US dollar, that means that we are buying it with the expectation that the other currency pairs against the dollar are actually going to be selling. When it comes to pairs like the Australian dollar versus the US dollar, we can see that we're experiencing similar price action just as well. We have the Australian dollar selling dramatically just as well, right? Even over the past day, Monday, afternoon, we started to see these sells on the Australian dollar. One thing that I do want to note is that we have some lows here that were previously respected by the Australian dollar that have now been swept. A sweep of liquidity is always going to be something that we're looking for prior to us positioning ourselves or realigning ourselves, right? We're always going to want to understand what is the market currently do, where are the current market lows, and we can see that some of the short-term lows were just taken out. We'll pay attention to that. GBP USD is another pair that has been moving extremely well throughout this entire conflict, right? We were able to catch the sells on GBP USD, some short term buys as well, and we have now just broken the lows. So now that we've broken the lows and we've swept all of these lows below here, the areas that I'm going to be looking for on the Great British Pound are going to be a bit lower, right? We may expect some pullbacks. We may, anticipate a pullback, maybe price trades back into structure or even back to here. And then following that point in time, we should see the market continue to sell on pairs like GBP USD, on things like Euro USD. This is showing us very clearly that this market is getting bearish. So we're seeing some big sells on the market, right? We're seeing these sells come in on the market, just as we are seeing all of our USD pairs trading to the buy side. If you guys ever want to feel comfortable or confident about trading your USD pairs, what you'll do is you can take pairs like USD CHF that you will see me trade often, um, and I'll trade them in alignment with the dollar index. So you can see how these two charts, they mirror one another, right? We can actually see that based on the buys that we've just experienced from USD CHF, we're now trading almost back to a point to where we're going to be testing the previous structure that was actually broken, right? That sent us to the downside. We found the low here right about 0.60, right? And we were able to buy up about 250 pips to this point so far before we started to see any rejections. So you guys, I'm just going through all of this very quickly, so that I can get a gauge in my mind as to where the market is currently trading at, some of the levels that we'll be looking for. I think that one of the pairs that's standing out to me the most right now that we can look for an opportunity in is probably going to be this Australian dollar versus the US dollar, right? If you guys can see here to the right side, you'll see that this Australian dollar is trading at 0.700, right? Right above that level. That is a psychological level to us, right? It's what we would consider to be a quarter level. So price tends to respond in a big way when markets, trade to these quarters, right? So at with all that being said, I'm expecting a continued reaction here, right? Maybe we get a pullback because we are creating an imbalance here just as well. So we don't want to take that for granted. These imbalances, when we see things like this happen, this big bearish engulfing candle that engulfs all of these previous candles and takes us into this lower level, this is typically going to be what people consider a break of structure, right? We've broken the lows, the lows, the lows, and we've traded back into our original trading range. What I would anticipate is that we move to our next low, our next level pretty quickly. However, I am going to want to be patient and wait for my ideal opportunity, right? Maybe I'll go and I'll look for price to pull back to structure, and I'll put my stop loss above the highs. Because if I were to enter this trade right now, now we're looking at a risk to reward. If I have my stop loss above the highs, we're looking at a risk to reward that doesn't quite make sense, right? Risk to reward is the name of the game when it comes to my trading, right? So I would look for this to pull back. We can see that we just fell about 10 pips. We are now below our psychological level, the 0.70 major level, but we're going to wait. We're going to be patient. We're going to take this as a sign, however, that this market is ready to switch directions, right? This buy side that we were seeing, it seems as though this is going to be coming to an end fairly quickly, right? Let's go ahead, take a look at NAS on the open, because this is also going to be one of our best opportunities, right? Because, like I said, if gold is actually truly selling from here, right, then NAS should not also be selling as well, right? So we're going to look to see if there's any major structures here on NAS. I'm just, I jump charts. I know that I just jump from one thing to another, but when the market opens, we're going to see NAS moving quicker than some of these other pairs. So I want to make sure that we have a good view of where that market is currently moving. If there's anything that we know about Trump so far, is that no matter what he's doing, this man is going to look to boost our markets, the U.S. markets, right? We can see that price is actually trading off of this is what we would call an order block right here. There is a little bit of an imbalanced zone below that order block. So it is to my expectation, and we actually did come in and sweep here, right? But it's to my belief that it's possible that we could trade into the lows, right? That's a whole nother 300 points. And then price could trade away from there, but at the exact same point. So that would be scenario number one. Scenario number two would be that we actually are unable to create a lower low. As you guys can see, we have our low, our peak low here, and then we have our higher low and a higher low. If the market stalls out right here, stays above this order block, we may look at this as the sweep of the lows, as price trading back into structure, and then now trading back into our previous market structure. If all of those things are true, we would be able to take our buys on NAS from here, and we would be looking at the highs. Typically, when it comes to me executing trades on NASDAQ, I'm going to wait for the first 15 minutes to enter my trade. So we have about 15 minutes to see how this market is going to open. We're going to want to dial down. This is where we start to do our top-down analysis, and we drop from the higher time frames, the 4-hour time frame where we have our structure. We know that we're either looking at a buy at our current price, or we're going to be looking at a buy from below. But if gold stays bearish, we are certainly looking for an upside move in this market, right? We're going to want to monitor this on the lower time frames. So we'll drop down to the 1-hour time frame, and what we can see is that we're already starting to see that price has it spiked, right? We've reversed and we've actually swept the lows. We're on the 1 hour now. We've swept the lows. We have still maintained above our previous lows. We have not been able to close below our we have not been able to close below these lows to this point in time. So our best opportunity that we're seeing right now is going to be the buys on NASDAQ. We can see that price is starting to move away from where we are right now. We're technically at 24,500. That is about 500 points below our quarter level, right? Which is going to be our 2,500 level, which will be our first targets, right? We'll be looking for price to trade back into the highs, right? As long as we maintain above these lows. So that's the first thing that we're going to be looking for. We're looking for a bullish engulfing candle on this NASDAQ, right? We already have price moving. We are already up over 80 points off of this move just alone. But you guys, if you did not enter the trade, it's okay. Don't worry, because I didn't enter the trade either. Like I said, I like to wait for my confirmation. I like to give the market a couple of minutes, 15 minutes, so that it can clearly tell me exactly what's going on. you guys realize there's no FOMO in this because there will always be another move. So now this actually acts to me as an additional confirmation. We just moved 100 points into profit on Nasdaq. So if you entered that trade, you are already in profit. You can enter, you could tighten your stop loss, right? To put your stop loss below the lows. You can see that we actually just got a gold sell signal. If you guys are in our velocity chat right now, I just told you guys that if we are expecting continued bearishness from the gold market, we should see the NASDAQ do the opposite, right? But let's go ahead and let's lock back in, you guys. I want to jump back over to this USD list. I'm not going to lose track of anything, you guys, I promise. You see that NASDAQ is currently creating a higher high. We have our low, and then we have a higher low that gives us our direction, right? And then we have our high, and then we have a higher high. It gives us our direction. What we're going to want to wait for is we're going to want to wait for a pullback on NAS to test structure after creating a higher high. Once we create this higher high, we'll either want to enter the market on a higher low, right? Pull back into structure here. I know I got a bunch of lines here. I'm going to clean it up, right? A pullback into structure here that will give us the opportunity for us to buy from that point in time. If we wait on that pullback after creating a higher high, so we're going to come back in 15 minutes, you guys, because like I said, I still haven't entered this trade, right? I want it to create the high and then to enter on the pullback. If we just simply test the high and then reject, and then we close with this being a low below this low in the next 15 minutes, it will invalidate my bias. So even if there was this 100-point buy side opportunity, that may not be the actual direction of the market, right? This right here, if we close right here, invalidates it. Don't take the sells. I will be patient. I'll be patient because it's very possible, very easy that the market just turns over here and continues going to the downside, right? You know, we always learn you don't want to try to catch a falling knife, right? This market is very, very bearish. So, us even buying, many people would consider it to be us trading against the trend. However, when it comes to the NASDAQ specifically, we understand that this instrument was created to go up. This is where, while Donald Trump is acting crazy in the Middle East and in Israel, and they have everything, this is where the wealthy are going to be storing their money. When everybody is panicking and everybody is fearful and everybody's like, I don't know what's going on. Trust me, these people will still continue to make money. It doesn't matter how you feel about them, but they're going to protect themselves and their families. And we just have to figure out how do we do the exact same thing just as well, right? So now we're getting this little bit of a pullback. I do like the pullback. This has not confirmed our buy side move, right? I would have liked for us to close above and then pulled back, but we've already pulled back, right? So I'm gonna still just be patient. I'm gonna still just be patient. And we'll go back to our US dollar as we saw. Are there any other signs that we're seeing? The US dollar is stalling right here, right at the highs. Anybody who ever seen a chart before, we know that if we're here this close to the highs, we're gonna sweep the highs, right? The odds of us selling from our current price point are not the best, right? This would be the high of the year, the high of the year. So even if we said, you know what, I am not a believer in the dollar, I want to be short the dollar long term. I want to be short the dollar long term, even if that is your bias. I got to switch flows real quick though, because there's much more valuable plays happening right now. But even if that was your bias, before we took the sells, we would look for the market to sweep the highs in a big way. And I would want the market to sweep the highs while trading into previous market structure. We could go as high as here. In reality, if you guys have been on my calls before, my personal perspective is that we're going to trade even higher than that, all the way back to 101, probably in this level here. which will send NZD to our final take profit, right? We should sweep these lows. It should send AUD. We did just get a little bit of a pullback, but we did just get the pullback. No, that was on the hour. I'm tripping. But this is good as well, right? We're going to wait to see where does the market start to retrace, and that's going to be where we're going to look to enter. We'll pull out our fibs. We might say, the 61.8, 70% right in this area here is where we would look for the markets to retrace to. And this is where we're going to snag our entries, you guys. So if you guys are 70, how many pips is that? That's actually a whole 70 pips from where we are right now. Does the market actually pull back that far? I'm going to be patient. We don't want to trade these in the middle here, right? So as much as we get on like a New York session, look at NASDAQ. Mm, mm, Okay. What time is it? Let me see. Let me see. Let's see. That's our higher high. That's our higher high. Let's see if we can get the close here on the NASDAQ. It could be sneaky and close high on, oh, it's not going to trade back, you guys. It's already retested. This retracement happened on a smaller time frame on the 5-minute. We should get continued sells from here. All right, so that's what we're going to do then. So look what we're going to do. NASDAQ, we are going to be looking to take longs on NAS. This engulfing right here. We're gonna want for price to trade back up right there. That's it, right above, back above structure. That's it. I'm still gonna be patient. I'm still gonna be patient. I'm still gonna be patient. As tempting as it is. We called this trade live here, guys. You guys are all witness. We're up 120 points on it. I did not get my entry. And it's very tempting for me to want to be like, yo, I didn't get my entry. I need to get into this market. I need to get into this market. But that's probably not going to serve me the best right now. And if it does, if I fail, then it's okay. We have to separate ourselves from that FOMO, right? There's no FOMO allowed. This is a beautiful trade, you guys. This would have hit my goal for the day automatically. Off the rip, I would have completed my day just off of taking this trade alone, right? And I didn't get a chance to get into it. So this is what we're going to do. We're not going to be fearful. We're not going to experience that FOMO. We're going to discipline ourselves and we're going to wait for the next move. Now that the market has confirmed, because this buy side to me has simply just confirmed the move. Not only did we close with our bullish engulfing candle, but we closed back into market structure, right? Back into our previous market structure. I'm going to wait right now we have a 5-minute close coming. All I need is this. This is all I need. And you guys will see me enter this trade and we'll do so together and we'll do so confidently. And we will get risk-free before the session is over. And we'll be holding this one for hopefully the long term, right? You guys have to think about where we are in the whole scope of things, right? Right now, not only are we, how would I say, not only are we beginning a new month, this is the start of March. So we're still trying to figure out the March movements. What is the direction that we're going to be trading in for the rest of the month of March, right? So we had the 5-minute close. Nope. 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 You see? You see why I told y'all we shouldn't enter, right? Look what the market went ahead and did. We did, however, we're going to wait. We're still going to be patient. It's okay. We did get a good pullback, though. This is a good pullback, to be honest. Created the high, pull back into structure. We're testing our 38.2. I'm going to wait. My rule of thumb is that we wait for at least the test of the 50%. No matter how good it looks, the price action to me looks beautiful. But that 50% right here is what we wait for, right? That is our equilibrium pricing. That is where we get like it's the buyers are satisfied, the sellers are satisfied. Our 61.8, we will be getting our, I'm sorry, guys. This is my biggest focus right now, to be honest. I'm very deep on our JPYs. As you guys can see, I've been calling the JPYs. We're in 2 sells right now on CAD JPY. We had somebody, I don't know if anybody actually got stopped out on this. It didn't stop me out on my broker. We had our first entry at 115.4, but our second entry had a stop loss at 115.3. And you guys can see like we missed it by just a hair, just a bit, right? So I didn't actually get stopped out on my broker. And there's other brokers that we're looking at that they don't seem to have, you see, that 115.3 missed completely here as well, right? So this is like a very close one, but if people did get stopped out, I wouldn't necessarily be like surprised at that. However, our trade has been confirmed. Our trade has been confirmed, right? We are looking, I'll tell you guys this. You guys are, I'm gonna give you guys my sauce since we got a small group right now. I'm looking for a quarterly buy on the JPYs. I'm looking for this to be not just a short-term day trade or a scalp. I'm looking to position trade this. I want to hold this for the next 3 months and just stack my entries for the next 3 months realistically. That's what I'm looking for. You guys can see I've been calling these CAD trades this entire year so far, right? We were buying off of the bottom. Imagine if we get a move like this on the Japanese yen basket. You know what that does? That sends pairs like GBP JPY. It sends GBP JPY down 500 pips. Easy, easy. I'm actually anticipating a sell on all of the JPY pairs, right? The JPY was previously a safe haven currency pair, but it has not been responding that way in recent time. It's just been selling and selling and selling. We see gold is continuing to sell. Our Nasdaq came back down just as well. Let's take another look at Nas, see if I can actually get that entry here because I do want to be in my Nas trade, I believe, but we didn't get anything. 15-minute close. We got 2 more minutes. Imagine, guys, think about this. If you don't learn anything from this call today, I like this better. I think I'm willing to take a little bit more of a risk here. I think I'm willing to take a little bit more of a risk here. And I'm going to execute a trade. This is my first trade of this session. I'm going to execute a trade on NAS 100 from this level here. Why'd you tell me? Because it makes you feel so strong. Okay, we're in there, guys. Stop loss below the lows, right? I'm going to be creeping it up. My stop loss will come to this point very quickly, right? But you guys, just imagine if I had seen this spike, this initial spike, and off of the impulse, I'm like, yeah, I'm right. I'm right. I called it. Look at AUD USD. We just fell 30 pips from where we, let me see. They don't know. They don't know. We just fell 30 pips from where we were just looking at AUD. We did not get that pullback, so I'm still waiting on the pullback on this, guys. Trading is trading is it's a sport of moving the money from the hands of the impatient into the hands of the patient, into the hands of the patient. If I would have entered that trade when, we saw it, we created a higher high, we would have been down 120 points to this point so far. We would have been down on the day. I would have been done. I wouldn't have taken a loss that big, but that's why I couldn't enter all the way up there, right? We wait for price to trade back, to retrace to our Fibonacci levels, you know what I'm saying? Um, Trade back into structure even if we're not using our fib levels, and then we wait for the reaction from there, right? We wait for the bullish engulfing candle that now validates to us that the market is ready to continue to the buy side, right? We were able to take this entry low risk, low stress. The only thing that was required was patience. We're up 60 points already. I'm not even going to look at my phone. 70 points already. I'm not even going to look at my phone. I don't need to look at it because the market is doing what we expect for it to do. It's validating in the ways that we would expect for it to validate. But what does that mean? That means that we should also see gold selling off right now, right? We should see gold selling off right now. Gold is actually trading, it is trading, selling off. It is trading into it's approaching a previous level of structure here, though. So I will be safe. I'm not going to take the trade and I'm not calling the trade. I will never call a gold trade on this live. It's not my place. It's not my rule. We got one of the best gold traders in the industry involved in our business as a partner with us. I'm going to wait on his signals. And I think he called the sells, right? I believe he called the sells when I was calling the buys on NAS. So right now, he just gave his last signal, waiting for the next move. I believe I'm going to just make a prediction. My next move would come close to the 5053 level. Yep, he called the sells. You know what I'm saying? Now, waiting on the next move. This is where I would be waiting for the sells to go to. So I always ask myself the question. I've made my trading, the way that I've developed myself in my skill set and my trading is through a process of self-assessment and self-evaluation. I question myself, I question my bias, and I also question the market, right? When I say that the market is selling, guess what my first immediate question is going to be? I suggest that you guys adopt the same. If we say the market is selling, you know what my first question is? Where are we selling to? Where are we selling to? Right? We can ask ourselves, where are we selling from? Right? And that's a great thing. It's a great question to ask. You see, we sold from the 56,560 almost perfectly. We touched this level perfectly. You see, that's a whole number. These are psychological levels. The institutions and the banks, they're not trading to, these small in between levels, right? They're trading to these key levels, these whole numbers. Look how that perfectly tests here, right? What if this sell was the move that gave us the direction and this was all just a pullback? What if all of this was just a pullback and we literally pulled back to one of our fib levels of 70% to 80% or 61%, whatever the case may be? JPYs, JPYs, it's all I care about today, you guys. It's all I care about today, you guys. Give me the loot. I'm in NAS as well. Let me pay attention. Let me calm myself because I'm in drawdown on NAS. Let me see. Let me see how I'm going to trade this. Let me make sure. Let me see. Did that just reject? Nope. Still up. Nope. Nope. Got rejected. Okay. Got rejected. It's okay. I'm not going to. This could probably trade right to here just as well. That will put me down about 50 points. But honestly, there's no sweep of the lows for me here, right? If we sweep the lows, we invalidate my trade, which is okay. That's why I went in small. I'm probably ain't in my position, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, I'm not even down like that, to be honest. I'm down 30 points, but no, my gosh. But my account is upside down right now. This account is on the move because we're going to jump over to the JPYs. I want you guys. You know what I want? Let me excite you guys real quick. I don't know if anybody is here as excited as I am, but let's zoom out. We're gonna look at the daily time frame, right? We're gonna zoom out and we're gonna look at this move on the JPY basket. I want one of them. I need something like this, yo. This what I want. This is what I want. That's why y'all been seeing me call the trades. So like I keep on trying to snag entries on the same positions. Win, lose, draw, I'm trying to manage the risk the best way that I can. You see, my risk is typically 25 to 30 pips, something like that. That's perfectly fine because if we get a move like this, we're going to be risking 30 pips, 30 pips, 30 pips. And when the trade hits, it's going to be 250 pips. We're going to go from our one quarter, from our one zone to our next level. Now, on the JPY basket, I want to take notice that we have created a higher low, right? We have officially created a higher low, and we are also now creating a bullish engulfing candle on the daily time frame. You guys, I'm pumped. I'm pumped because if we look at this, what we'll see is a couple of things. Number one, I'll show it to you this way actually. Let's do this. Let's look at it on the line chart. I'm gonna clear everything too. So we have our high, right? And then let me monitor my NAS trade. We have a higher high, right? And then we have our low. If I ever start singing on these calls, you guys don't make fun of me. God did not give me that skill set, did not give me that gift, but I'm gonna sing anyways. I'm gonna do it anyways. It ain't gonna stop me. It just ain't gonna be good. That's the only thing. I'm gonna do it anyways, though. Um, but this is essentially what we're looking at. Sometimes I like to change my perspective. I'll switch between the charts just simply so that I can see, and you guys do not let me not go backwards so I can get my charts back. But I like to look at these markets oftentimes on the line chart simply because it's going to give us the clearest point. There are no wicks on the line chart. So would be some people would be here and they'd be like, oh, wait, but it's kind of a relatively equal low. It's like an equal low. It went here and then it did it again. This is like a triple bottom, kind of, but this low is definitely higher than this low. This is a bullish confirmation for me. Bullish engulfing candle. If we close bullish on the daily, you guys, it's over with. Let me go backwards so I don't lose my charts, my markup. I added to my NAS position. Don't nobody tell me, but I'm hoping. Let me go back and look now. Mm, we're in profit. That's not the right chart. Hmm. Those charts are a little bit okay. Now we're in profit. Those charts are a little bit off. One of them lagged a little bit, but all in all, we are running in profit. We're almost at a point to where I'm going to be able to get risk free, tighten my stop loss even more so. This was the pullback. This is the pullback. There should be no pullback needed. So we have the 1 hour candle closing in 5 minutes. We have the 4 hour candle closing in 5 minutes. We're going to want a pretty decisive move. Now, this high or this low, I should say, that we were previously looking at, we kind of, if if possible, if possible, if this market could close above this high here, I would be very grateful. It would make me very happy. I can't say that that's what the market is going to do. As long as we're above this structure here, right? I'm, not in, you haven't invalidated my trade, right? We're still valid right here. This doji shows like indecision. We can go either way. However, market, if you wanted to work with me, you feel me? If you wanted to, what I'm saying, just, give me a couple, what is that, a couple 100 pips? Give me 100 points right quick. It ain't no big deal. It's just 100. Give me 100 points in the next 4 minutes. Let me spike up here so I could take my people and get risk free. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't got to worry about, oh, I'm already in. I'm already in. And my entry was fire. if this thing spikes, I'm gonna be holding that long. I might be holding that one long term. Be holding that till my stop loss gets hit. Because here's the thing, you guys. Each market is going to have like an average daily range that it'll move within, right? If we said that this market just moved 500 points to the downside, pulling back 200 points, it's not unheard of, would not be too difficult, would not be too difficult. Want to see how this is going to work out right now just as well. The dollar is finding some support. If this could be another re-entry just as well, this would be a good entry on the dollar also. So is it right for me to believe that the dollar could strengthen and the stock market could strengthen at the same time? I think so. Gold dumping, there's a lot of volume in gold right now, right? A lot of volume in gold right now. The market tends to move in a cycle. When they cycle money out of one industry, you just take money out of gold, you put money into um some people put money into crypto. You got that bullish engulfing candle. I'm not personally touching. Hmm. I'm not going to leverage it. I'm definitely buying crypto, but I'm not about to buy it on a leveraged account. Not right now. So, first things that I see, where are we selling? Where are we selling to? We create our low. This is our peak low, right? We trade back into structure. This is really this is all consolidation. That's why you don't have to force any trades or you don't have to, rush or feel like you missed out because nothing has happened. This is all consolidation. Markets moving sideways, right? Now we wait for price to either break below, retest, and then to fall, or we wait for the opposite price to break the highs, retest, and then it's crypto season. You know what I'm saying? That could happen. This bullish engulfing candle, we were not able to break out of our external range. Nas just fell. Hmm. I didn't get taken out though, did I? I might have had a tight stop loss. Let me see. Oh, nope, I'm not break even still. We got a good entry on that one, you guys. It's not bad at all. But JPY for the win. Let's go, bruh. Take profit about to hit. I hope everybody is still in that trade, man. I know somebody's gonna tell me that they got stopped out. I be trying to get it so I be trying to keep it so I be trying to choke the market out, keep it tight. Oh, God is so good. Lord have mercy. Let's go. Let me see. Did anybody get stopped out on that trade? Took GBP, JPY. You got the sell side? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. On GJ, we have not broken the lows yet. So we did just get a big push. What am I doing right here? What am I doing here? All right, next move. Now we've created these even highs, kind of. We do have a lower high. We've got this big bearish engulfing candle. Our trade on CAD JPY is right. We entered at, let me see where we entered. We had two entries. Our first entry was at 115, 15. Please go sweep these lows, Lord. Sweep these lows, bro. I'm in so heavy on this trade right now, guys. This is like Everything else I've been entering pretty light, but CAD JPY, I'm stacked on that thing right now. 15.15. Stop loss was 15.40, so this was our stop loss, 25 pips, right? Pretty smooth, pretty smooth trade, right? Let me see. Take profit one, 14.75. We're about to smack that. We'll look at 13.45. That'll be take profit three. Sweep these lows. They don't know what I mean. Please, God. Please, God, just give it to me. Let me have that. Let me have that. Let me have that. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. That's what I need right now. This low is definitely getting taken. There's no possible way that we trade below these lows and we don't sweep the lows. Take profit one is 5 pips away. Look, this was our uh no, this was the one that was like a 0.30 pullback. I mean 115.3. You know what I'm saying? We gonna see. I definitely expect the pullbacks. I'm very curious as to why GBP has not taken the lows. If you guys look at the comparisons here, we have CAD JPY might be catching up to the other pairs. You can see that GBP JPY is down 0.7, but CAD JPY is down only 0.22. AUD JPY is down 1.53, right? So this one is the laggard of the group. And the reason why is because the CAD is directly connected to oil. And if their oil routes are being disrupted, and that route is responsible for 20% of the oil output, then we can expect that the CAD would hold some weight. You know what I'm saying? That the CAD's going to hold on in the best ways that it can. Come on, 1 pip, 1 pip, 1 pip. I need one. I need one. I just need one. It's so we just swept the lows. I'm not gonna close. Let me see. Let me check my trades, bro. Cause run the play, run the play. Thank you, God, yo. Thank you, God. I needed it. Come on now. Come on now. Take profit one. Just got hit. Take profit one. Just got hit. Double time. Double time. Congratulations, traders. Congratulations, traders. Ooh, a little smooth 45er. A little smooth 45er. I hike you don't want to close none of my trades, but I know that's not wise of me, bro. I know that's not wise. What should I do? Because I want to hold this trade for forever, bro. Close partials. How many lots do I have open? Oh, so I'll close. I'll close. I'll close this trade. Damn, bro, I don't want to close anything. I'll close this one. Oh, let me take a screenshot first. Gotta take the flex shot. Close this one. Oh, let me take a picture here too. Anytime you start taking pictures of your trades, you know it's time to close your trades. It's like a mental setup right there, bro. It's like, oh, you thought you were getting cocky? Ha ha ha. You thought. I honestly think this trade's gonna go forever though. I'm trying to find. Ooh! Jesus, Lord have mercy, bruh. Wow, yo, this is such a pretty screenshot. Golly. Oh boy, I look like I'm one of them ones right here now, boy. Your boy look like he is official. Sheesh. I do need to close more profits though, bro. Let me not be cocky. Don't ever get cocky with this market, bro. Oh, but this is what I've been waiting for. In my private chat, for those of you in the chat, like, yo, I have been. You would think that I was like crazy, bro. Let me close out this much. Close that, bro. I don't want to close this one. But is that me being overly? Let me close out some, bro. Let me close out some, bro. Just take your money, my G. Sorry, guys, talking to myself. All right, how many lots do I keep open? 60, 90. See, I closed out a little bit too much. Blessings, though. Thank you, God. Oh, this is a banger right here, y'all boys. And that's a banger right there. Needed that. Is GBP 6J1. So 6J1 is going to be the futures option for JPY. If you want to look at, so I trade a part of my strategy. You can see how I organize myself here, right? You can see how I organize my lists and things like that. Um, Part of that is I focus on the dollar. I trade the dollar, but then I also will focus on the Japanese yen. If you want to find the yen, you can type in JPY basket. It'll look just like this. And I'm using the FXCM chart. This chart is inversely correlated, as you can imagine, with all of the pairs that trade against the JPY. So, with that being said, things like CAD JPY, right? You see that CAD JPY is getting ready to sell while the JPY basket is buying. So I use it as a confirmation. I'm not a very indicator based trader, right? I primarily, let me see if gold traded into that structure that I was talking about. Nope. Oh, it did. Oh, it did right away, bro. See, that's why I can't trade gold, bruh. Bruh. It's already gone 150 points. I would not be surprised if my guy did not call this in the next couple minutes here, right? If we don't get our next gold. Ooh! Hmm. I'm chill. I'm not calling any gold trades. I'm satisfied. I'm grateful. I'm blessed. You know what I'm saying? I just bagged a. This is my ideal entry though. If I'm being honest with you, this is where I would enter. Where I say I ask myself some questions. Where is price trading from? Where is price trading to, right? I think that we looked at this on this last candle and it was probably up like here, something like that. Oh, I could tell you exactly because my guy called he called the sell side. So our sells, oh, and he hit take profits on all of them. The sells were at, huh? 5135. Wow, that was a whole hundred. Yeah, so it was right here when I was calling it. Called the sells. I technically did call the sells. I ain't gonna take credit for calling the sells because I would never, I would never do that. I would never call the sells like that. Not no. But we fell 140 points from there, and then now we're starting to see. Let's take a look at USD JPY. So here's the thing. If you look at my list here, I have USD JPY not on my list. I look at all of the JPYs except for USD JPY. USD JPY actually does not follow the rules of my strategy at all. So I don't trade it. It's one of the most fluid, liquid, I should say, currency pairs, though, just as well. And this is going to trade opposite of gold. So if gold is continuing to sell, then USD JPY will buy. These are the closest like two direct opposites, right? If gold is selling, UJ will buy. And what I'm noticing here is that we have these highs here. You know, we swept the highs, and now we are creating kind of a lower high here, and we've traded back into structure. So my initial instinct on UJ would be that the market could sell, right? This is from what time frame was that? That was on a lower time frame. This is from like the 30-minute time frame down. However, I would not necessarily take the trade. I might look for price to pull back into here, right? And then to buy from there. I believe, I don't want the JPYs to buy though. Hopefully it doesn't buy from there and it just falls through and it does support my JPY. The reason why I don't trade USD JPY is because it's based off of two separate majors. It's based off of the Japanese yen, which will direct the market, and it's also based off of the US dollar, which will direct the market. With both of these pairs directing the market, there's more of a, it could cycle and get stuck. Oh, I didn't even send the update. Did I take a screenshot of this? Wow. Let me update the group. I don't even think I sent an update. I did tell everybody to update their stop loss though, so let me see if I can take an accurate picture because the stop loss would be right here. I hope that didn't take nobody out. This is not accurate. I called this yesterday. See, the only thing is that it almost, hmm, how do I send the screenshot? Because this looks so close, like it hit stop loss, but it didn't hit my stop loss though. It does show it on this chart. I wonder how many people see, look, but it doesn't show it on this chart. That's crazy, ain't it? That's the difference with that's Forex for you though. Forget it. I'm gonna just send my chart. I ain't about to do all that work. Remark it up. If people ain't catch it, it's all good, bro. They'll pay attention next time, and I'll tighten up my entries next time. Ooh, saucy. This was the original trade though. The original one ain't never. You ain't even get close. And that was only 20 pips. I just be trying to manage my risk so much. Sometimes I feel like with the community, I be over managing my trades, and I'm just like, I could just let it ride. But we gonna figure it out. We gonna get it right. You know what I'm saying? We gonna get it together. Everything is blessed, man. Everything is blessed. Cat JPY. Sorry for screaming in y'all ears, y'all. I'm happy, very grateful, very much so. 15, 15, 40 pips. CAD, JPY, TP1. Oh, I just called this in my other group too. Call this everywhere. Let's go. Pips. JPY is finally moving. I am expecting our top entries to hold, but secure partials. Is it too early to move stop loss to break even on this? It's okay. We can also protect ourselves. Ooh, beautiful. I waited so long for that little 40 pips, bro. All right, and then what was our second entry? 1:15:10. Bro, hmm. If you're on Genesis, your stop loss did not get hit. This joint looked like your stop loss got hit though. Let me see. All right, let's check it out. All right, let me check it out on GJ. I want to be honest though. I don't want to be dishonest. Need to call this accurately. Y'all see how long I'm taking? I'm taking way too long to do this right now just because. Sweep the lows. Aha! That's what we were looking for. Good heads up. Very good heads up. All right. So this is what we okay. All right, cool. Let me send this trade real quick. Can y'all tell I'm like my brain is everywhere? I should have just sent the picture twice. I'm just gonna send the update, bro. Be like, y'all should see me when you'll see me if you keep on joining, but even when I send signals, bro, you would think I'm like mentally slow, bro, because I'm probably the slowest signal sender ever. Why is my Telegram not opening? Let me do it on my phone real quick. I'm gonna tell you what the next move is, what we're looking for next. Every single move that happens is just further confirmations. Yo, this looks so beautiful, bro. Oh my goodness. What am I doing right now? Telegram. All right. So our second entry, we had 1040. All right. Woo! I don't know about that Ric Flair. Woo! But yeah, I tried not to scream in y'all ear. All right, cool. Let's lock in, you guys. This is where things actually start to. This is like what we've been waiting for, right? We actually just now got our confirmations, right? So essentially, if we understand, let's see, how would I say this? So, how would I say this? Let's see. So when we're looking to identify the trend of the market, right? The trend of the market is always going to be identified by higher highs and higher lows, right? We can start to see now from the higher time frames that there's a possibility that GJ, not a possibility because I believe that it is true, that GJ has been making higher lows, right? We've made a low and a higher low. We made a high and a higher or a high and a lower high, right? So naturally, we're looking for the lower low. We're going to be cautious though. We're going to be careful simply because GJ's just done something very interesting. We have now swept the lows, right? We'll always look for the sweep of the lows. And we have now traded back into our previous market structure, right? We've actually traded back to mitigate this imbalance, right? So it is quite possible that GJ could buy from up. I actually see a little bit of an imbalance here that just as well. This is where it gets tricky and the market will sell further to come and take out this last low, right? And this is where I would just wait for it. Another push lower. That's a whole nother 50 pips away. But we have swept these internal lows, right? Once we sweep and trade back into structure, this is actually our previous entry from I believe last week it was, right? I am going to be looking for maybe the buys. I don't want the buys on GJ though, for real, for real. I just want it to sell forever, but am I being realistic? Hmm. I could look for something like this. This would be a possibility here, right? This would be a possibility trade into structure, then trades away from structure back into the highs, takes the highs. That would be if the yen isn't truly bullish, but it does look very bullish to me. This yen basket looks very bullish to me. Um, so we still have to decipher that information. If these are the lows, and this low, and this low get respected, then now we trade into our buyer's territory. We trade higher, right? Just as we are here. We would expect to see some resistance right here at this block where we see this railroad track and then we see this bearish engulfing candle. We would expect for price to trade into here and to potentially get rejected, right? Now we got to see what are the rejections going to be. Is it going to be a real rejection or is it going to be like a pullback, right? If it pulls back, where does it pull back to? So if we reject here, we can pull back to here, right? Or we could pull back to here, is what I would expect. So either we don't even need this one either. So here or here. We would want this, however, after a good test. I'm not really going to move because if it's a minor pullback, would it leave with just the previous ones? Would it leave wicks just like the previous ones? Here, you're saying these wicks? Um, so that's a good question. And that's where it comes down to like analyzing and how do we see these markets, right? We see that JPY or GBP is already starting to move before the big green candle. Let me go back. So this is the um, big green candle. This one, or am I on the higher time frame? Or the one that I showed you before? This one or this one? Oh, you can unmute yourself. Okay, this first one, this candle. Yes, pull the chat up. All right, awesome. What is show wicks? If it's a minor pullback, would it least would it leave wicks just like the previous ones? Not sure I understand. So this is how I would express it or how I would believe the information to be. Let's see. So we always do a top-down analysis, right? We're going to start from the 4-hour time frame because what happens on the 4 hour time frame is going to direct the market. So if we get a strong 4 hour closure, honestly, in the next 2.5 hours, my hope is that we would breach into this area here and have a bullish engulfing candle that comes and tests these lows and trades above this high. If that's the case, then I would say that that was the full move. And I would now start to use my fib levels and I would try to say, okay, where would price pull back to if it was just a regular pullback, right? The 70% is right on top of the level that we created. The 50% is right there. So if the market trades higher, so this is like with me imagining that we swept these highs, right, and traded higher. If I did it from here, I'm just not convinced that this move is over. Even if it moves from here, you can see that's the 61.8 and the 38.2. So the level that we're trading at now is valid and it is important, right? These are valid levels. How the market responds to these levels are going to be important. So I'm going to want to see how we close out at the end of the 4 hour, and I'm going to want to see how we close out at the end of the 1 hour. If the 1 hour closes and it's like sideways like this, to where we technically have, I think that this is the move, you guys. We technically have like this lower low, right? And then now we're creating like equal highs, right? If this closes low, then maybe we consider that to be like a lower high, and maybe that directs the market lower, right? So I want to be cautious of that. You know what I'm saying? I want to be cautious. There's a possibility that price trades back into structure here. I think that this would be a good move back into these lows and then to buy from here. Hopefully we get the explosive move after that. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, I would like to see a close higher, before I felt confident on that. You can see how our CAD JPY has already bought back 25 pips, right? So there's two things that are happening. Either option number one, we're simply pulling back to mitigate this imbalance, right? We created a large imbalance. If this is the real move and the JPY is actually not going to come back, right? If it's not going to actually come back and it's going to buy and keep on buying, because here's the thing. Here's my anticipation on the yen basket. Let me go to a new chart. All right, let me go to a bigger time frame. All right. So you see the spike that I'm looking for. After that spike, the market went into consolidation, right? We created multiple equal highs and multiple equal lows. We traded in this box here and then we broke out. Now we traded below, we swept the lows. And if we actually trade back into structure, number one, we should come back and test up here. That'll send the market crazy. I'm about to re-enter my trade, bro. I think that we could trade back a little bit higher, but ooh. All right, this is how we gonna do this. Now let's look at it like this. Switch your perspective. Switch your perspective, Wale. Yeah, so there's two possibilities, right? Possibility one, equal highs, market trades to sweep the highs. Very possible, right? Especially with us testing so much. Option number two, retracement, a pullback to structure. We re-enter the trade and we get the sells to the downside from there. One second. All right. So two possibilities, right? The only thing that I'm concerned about here is that we tested the lows, right? On the lower time frames, this to me is a valid sweep of the lows. Let me look at the other pairs. See, this looks like it could get bullish. Like I said, created these lows. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to think about how we do this. This is a valid buy. These structures are very valid. These are valid levels that the market's buying off of right now. Very much so. CAD JPY back above 115. GBP JPY. This looks like we could trade into here. JPY basket. Is this a rejection or a retest? We're almost at our 50% again. Almost at our re-entry zone. Let's look at gold. What time is it? What time did I start this session at? 9:15? I'll be on here for another 15 minutes. If you guys have any questions, let's look at gold. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this session, got some value. Oh, yeah, I definitely got stopped out of my NAS trade off of that gold spike. That was a beautiful gold trade. Huh. Now, do we think that the gold buys are going to last? Wow, market rebounding so fast. Euro NZD looks like it's blasting off, which means our NAS, our GBP should still be selling. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. AUD still down just about 20 pips. Pullbacks are coming now, though. All right, cool, guys. I think that that gives us a little retesting structure. What's going on? Equal highs. Do we sweep the highs? I would love for us to break below these lows in this move. Price may need a pullback, so this is the total range of this move here now, right? Now you can see that 70%, that 61.8 now lines up exactly with the areas that we've already forecasted. So it's potential that we get a small reversal here. Price pulls back, and then maybe we continue to take these lows. These lows do need to be taken, so I'm not convinced that we reverse. This is not a reversal to me. This is just simply a pullback, right? And we should see that same pullback across the board. JPYs, I'm going to be monitoring it. I'm not going to stand in front of the charts too much longer, though. Probably step away here in just a moment. But those are our two scenarios. We either weaken and close lower on the 1 hour time frame. The way that we're going to judge that is you see how this is a, how would I say? You see how this is a very bearish engulfing candle, high wicks above, right? If this current candle engulfs this previous red one, I would consider that to be like a buy side situation. We don't want this candle to close, try to be poking out his chest. I'm the big bad, the big bad wolf. You feel me? Like we want this one to show some respect to the candles that have come before. It's okay for you to come up here and test and play around and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But no man's zone, You cannot. Oh, I didn't update my other groups that I. Let me see. Sorry, guys. I know that had to feel like I just bouncing around, Lord. I just didn't take any screen. All right. All right. All right. All right. I forgot to post this. All right. Any questions, you guys?
What's up, bro? Not really. Just still studying, learning the long positions, short positions, and doing the risk management. So, but yeah, everything about it very straightforward.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, appreciate for your time, dog.
Yeah, you know the vibes, bro. I'm always here. Always here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so one thing that I do want to just mention is just the fact that you guys see how you guys see kind of my posture in it. I'm very confident with myself, right? I'm very confident with myself when it comes to the market. One second. But I also still speak to myself in like possibilities, if then statements. If the market does this, then the market does that, right? I also try to um I don't want to ever say like talk about devil's advocate or anything like that. However, I do intentionally see, look, try to look at both scenarios. What are the possibilities, right? What are the possibilities that we can experience here, right? What are the no-goes? What are the disqualifiers? What are the disqualifiers, right? And then what are the things that are just like, okay, just a little, it's just a little hezzy move, you feel me? It's just a little pump faking, a little hesitation. What could the market be doing? How can we induce traders to enter the market? How do I get buyers to enter the market? So I got to look at this from the perspective of a buyer. If I was a buyer, what would I be looking for? I would be looking to see, okay, we hit the lows, lows, lows. All right. Now we got highs, highs, highs. Now it seems like the market is trading back to the top. We have this big bearish engulfing candle that created this long wick, right? So now I don't want this next candle to be a bullish engulfing candle because that would be just too much of a back and forth of a battle. And if that happens, then it's likely that we go and we clear these highs. What I would like to see is I would like to see in the hour, maybe we test higher, we test up here, but then I want to see us get weak. I would need to see some weakness, right? Because if this is my fib levels, and if this is like a candle that I'm drawing my fibs based off of, maybe I draw from the high of this to the low of here. I'm like, yeah, you're testing my 78.6 right now. This is like the farthest that I would expect for you to go, right? If anything, worst case scenario, you come through and you test like this higher structure. I still need you to make a lower high. A higher high is non-negotiable. You can't do that. You can't. You're not allowed. If you do that, then I got to invalidate my current belief, my current trade, which is okay. There's no problem with that. But the sooner that I'm able to identify that my trade needs to be invalidated, the better, right? Bullish engulfing candle. This is super bullish. Long wick at the bottom. That means that sellers pushed the market down, but they were not able to keep it there. Market's now rebounding well, and JPY is rejecting. This now to me looks like a rejection. Lower high, high, lower high, right? trading back into that range, right? What can we expect? Okay, maybe it's a pullback. Do we pull back to the 38.2? We haven't pulled back to the 38. We already did, right? So now maybe we reject at the 50%. That's possible, right? Worst case scenario, we come down to the 61.8. These are just my check marks. Anything below this, I gotta toss. It's not for me. I gotta be like, it's a little bit rough. I can't stay in the trade. And as you see, this JPY is giving us the possibility that this turns into a bearish engulfing candle at the exact same time that the CAD JPY is showing us that this could turn into a bullish engulfing candle. So we're literally just waiting on these signals to see which way is the market actually going to go into. What is the market actually going to do? And right now, as I said, and you can see, look at all these rejection wicks, right? You can see how these wicks start to curve just as well, right? You can see how price is relieving just a little bit. I'm not going to be, we have a 15-minute candle closing in 3 minutes. So I'm going to want to dial down and see how did the how did the 30-minute candle close? 30-minute was a retest. We traded all the way back into structure. We tried to come into this point. We tried to erase this bearish engulfing candle. We were able to do some significant work. However, we were not able to engulf this bearish engulfing candle. That's a good sign for my original bias, the fact that I liked the sell side of this move. That's a good sign, right? I jump back to the JPY. You could see that we have that sell off, but we are seeing some rejections coming in. Maybe we're finding structure support right around here. There's still the possibility. I still want to keep my eyes or my mind on the possibility that we could trade lower, right? We could trade below here, right? We could still come and do this, sweep this low, sweep these lows. Possible, possible. Is that what I want? No, I would just want this to go up a million pips, but I got to look at what's, realistic for me. So now this 15-minute candle is closing. You can see that we tested the 38.2 and we're getting a pretty solid rejection or reaction from it. This imbalance that was created, this bullish imbalance that was created, is going to the buy side. It's already being erased. So now in my mind, you know what that lets me see? We cleared up any imbalances on the 15-minute as well as the 30-minute, as well as the hour, right? We're cleaning up the chart as we're going. I have to ask myself, are there actually even imbalances on the higher time frame? If I'm looking at this and this is actually a daily trade, right? Not an hourly trade. If I was on the 15-minute, then all the 15-minute data would be the most important. But on the daily time frame, based on what we've seen, what we want to see, our biggest thing is that we do want to see price close above this 38.2. If our price closes above this 38.2, then we know that we probably have a long-term swing trade opportunity. We may get, imagine if this day is like this day, and that's the start, right? And then we get the next day that's like this, and we're already in the trade from here, right? The next trade is like this, and we're already in the trade from here. That is our best case scenario. Another good scenario is that we actually get the pullbacks. I probably don't even see the 71% coming. If price trades back to the 61.8, that might be like my limitation for me, just based on me believing that we're trading this on a higher time frame, right? Maybe I start to do some funky stuff and I start to look at the in between time frames just so that I can continue to challenge my own perspectives. And now I identify different things, fair value gaps on the charts, right? We have our low, then we have a lower low. So now if this is our new low, then the lowest point that we can reach to is going to be here. We don't want price to create any lower low, right? We need price to maintain above here. And if we can do all of these things, we see wick, 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 wick. That means that people are taking sell side. It's very possible that we trade straight through this and we erase all of that just as well. So there's a lot of possibilities here, you guys, trading back above the structure here. You see how this low We came in, created the low, price sold, and then we get this big bullish engulfing candle. Do you see how that happened right at that 38.2 that we're currently trading at, right? These are little hints. They're breadcrumbs that the markets are sending us. And I'm finding these breadcrumbs on different time frames, right? We're evaluating it in different ways. We're asking different questions. Um, and all in all, we do have our bias, right? We know that if this stays above here, we're going to look for price to continue. We know that there's a possibility that we sweep the lows. If we sweep the lows, I'm going to set an alert. We'll put that at 5280, 5280. Lows swept. Look for price to trade back into structure. I usually don't leave that long of a message for myself, but this is a crucial time, right? Sweep the lows, trade back, or just go from here. I don't care. If you just go from here, I'm okay with it. If you pull back, you can pull back, just don't go too far. But with all that being said, you guys, that's gonna wrap it up for me. How do I find which range is going to? That's a good question. So I'll use a different currency pair for this example. We can do NZD, USD. Um, and we can do something like this. And I may identify trading ranges by looking at these psychological levels. One of the closest psychological levels that I'm able to see is this zero point 0.6 level, right? This zero point 0.6 level. So I might say that if the market rejects from this zero point 0.6, the next place that it might go to will be this 0.575, right? 0.575 is another one of our psychological levels. You can see when the market tested 575, it went to 6. When it rejects 6, it's possible it goes back to 575 or even below. You know what I'm saying? To our weekly levels. Or it's possible that we are just trading in the middle and that we go back and we retest this level here. So I'm trading in between. It's basic the midpoint of the trend. Um, hmm. So what I identify them as is I identify, and we have a video in the IGC library if you have access to it. It's called quarter point theory, right? And essentially, quarter point theory it says that similar to our dollar, you know, and how the dollar can be broken up into 25-cent increments, that the market can be broken up into 250-point increments. That from one level, we should be looking to trade into the next level, right? We also identify areas of supply and demand. We might identify our counter trend trade, and then we are able to create structure here. So it's interesting that that structure lines up perfectly with our quarter levels. So all we're looking for is going to be a pullback and retesting structure, and then to see how price moves from there. I don't like how this JPY is moving. I need rejections because it's kind of giving me a feeling like we're about to sweep these highs, and I don't like that. 10 more minutes. Hmm. We are. Ooh. All stop losses are in place. I need rejections. I need a rejection in the next 10 minutes. Stop playing with me, man. Confirm for me, man. That's what it's doing right now. That's why the market's a little funky because it is in the process of confirming what the next moves are going to be, right? We're going to have a better understanding in the next few minutes here of what those moves could be. We see that this is kind of giving us a retrace, like a test, and that price is looking like it wants to trade higher. Um, we want this JPY basket to now, as I'm seeing it on the lower time frames, we've just retraced into here. We've tested this order block here. Anytime you see these, this kind of a price action pattern to where we have our uh, buys, sells, buys, that continuation kind of a pattern, we can expect for the market to continue moving in that direction. When we get that pullback into that structure there, we want to pay attention to how price retraces, or excuse me, how price reacts to this level. Because if we do buy from here, then our stop loss goes, safely below the lows, and this looks to take the highs. You know what I'm saying? If we break through here, then we have a pretty easy, or I should say, we are able to react, respond. See, I don't like this. If I'm being honest, it's not what I want right now because this looks like prices tested, then shot, right? Then came back and just retested right here. And now we're getting bullish. So I'm not going to make any moves based on that, right? Those are like those inducement type of moves to where they want you to pull the trigger, right? You could pull the buys and then they end up saying that this is a lower low or a lower high, right? Oh, so this is where we start to analyze the lower time frames because it's important to me, and I'll stay on for a few minutes until this candle closes, I suppose. Um, but this is where we want to would be reversal if it breaks the previous. Which one on JPY? Yeah, if this breaks the lows here, it could continue and fall from there. I was actually doing quite a bit of research just to how this instrument has been responding to the past wars, right? We had the Ukraine war here, price sold, melted. We had the Gaza war here, price sold, and now we have the Iran war, and price is selling just as well. Well, it's buying actually, but I that's why I keep it in my mind that the sells are possible. The only thing that, hinted me otherwise is the simple fact that our gold trade was selling off like that. Look at this. This would have been 300 pips on gold. More than that, 500. 500. I couldn't call it though. I could have called it. I just can't man. I just have a hard time managing my risk with gold, bro. Even with like a small lot size, I just struggle with it. So I just stay on my lane, let my guy do what he does. Um, but yeah, you guys. So that's about it. What we're looking at. This rejection that we're seeing now is a little bit better. I would want a little bit of a stronger rejection. You can see that we are closing below the lows. If we can get back below 115, like 10, like back below, well, really back below this level here. That's a pretty good risk to reward trade setup. It's about 10 pips to the highs. Um, right, just looking at this exact same setup again, we would want to keep this JPY basket above here. We got our pullback, got our retracement entry here. And if this stays bullish, potentially closes this hour above this high, right? This is kind of what I would be looking for. If we close this hour above this high, oh, Everything is confirmed. Everything will be confirmed, and we are good to run. You know what I'm saying? Good to continue our trade on the JPYs. I know some people probably they might have just got stopped out. This is beautiful. Exactly what I want. Close above, below our green line sends us lower, right? Yep. Still like our bias, you guys. And I just charged up. That's why I took partials at the bottom. You see that inner battle. This whole game, this whole thing is just like it's a battle because like how do you want to do it? You could do it in different ways. You know what I'm saying? I could just hold my trades and hold my top position. That was one idea that I had. Or I could secure my partials, right? Add to my equity. Market retraces. We enter the trade again in the same direction. Now I have an even bigger position. Go risk free on the original positions. And we're ready to ride for the rest of the day, you guys. I think that we just got our confirmation here right now. We just got our confirmation here right now. We just want to close below here. It could test and reject just like that, but the market's not going to play with us like that. I think the market's about to cooperate. I don't think you want to give me a hard time. You've been giving us a hard time already. You know what I'm saying? You're going to make this one nice and easy for us. But this is the level that we're trading in now, which is very good. This is only a, probably delete this. This is now only just a about a 5 pip range that we're trading in. I love it when the market starts to compress like this, right? When I say that this is the range that we're trading in, the reason why I say that is because if we trade above these highs securely, we can expect to see price trade to the buy side. If that happens, I'll just close out my trades. You know what I'm saying? That'll be close enough. That'll be close to my break even. You know what I'm saying? If we close like this, I'll be like, you know what? I'll just cut my trade. I already secured partial profits, right? I already secured partial profits. I'm at break even. That would put me up for the day, plus and minus. If we close below here though, market accelerates. I don't like this though. Patience. I don't like it. 1 hour time frame close. Big bullish engulfing candle. Exactly what I didn't want. 30-minute close. Testing the highs, have not broken the highs. Tested the highs, have not broken the highs. Good morning. Mm, mm, mm. Morning, my girl. Mm. All right, guys. I think that's gonna be it for me. I still haven't closed this yet. My stop loss is close. Make sure all my stop losses are in place. We cap our downside, but I don't want to be too reactive. Let's go ahead and just analyze this before we hop off. Yep, this might run through here though. All of these wicks right here. We got wicks, 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 and then we're just trading so close to these highs. Very easy for us to just continue from here. But this can turn around just as well in 1 hour. So we really want to see what's going to happen in the next 2 hours as this 4 hour candle progresses. This is very aggressive for me though. I don't like this. I don't like it at all. All right, you guys. I'm going to end the call here. I'll keep on monitoring it. I will send updates if anything comes through. We're about 5 pips away from where I'd be like, the trade is invalidated for me. We're already trading back to the highs. But I hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll catch up with you all soon. Peace.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Yep.